All right. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday as I am recording this. I can't see the chat. I'm just noticing that the chat window doesn't seem to be working. Not quite sure how I can mess with that. I'm going to try to hit refresh here. Hopefully. So, all right. I see chat. All right. Hopefully I can see chat now. Couldn't see it. There we go. There we go. Oh, and Brian Smith just typed up a deeper explanation of the dice drop system. If you missed that, he posted that to our forums. Thank you, Brian Smith, for helping out my forums, which is why I didn't stream yesterday. I put in a plugin. It seemed to be a simple plugin. Started causing kinds of issues, and I'm far enough away from doing sort of hands-on command line programming that trying to get it sorted out just I tried and tried and tried and tried, and then things were just breaking. So I had to go back to had to restore from a save point, but because it had been so easy to update stuff previously, I hadn't really been diligent in backing up because I didn't see the need to. All the updates so far had been really good, of course, until this compatibility thing just screwed me over. So I had to update from a week ago, so I had to post some back stuff. Thankfully, I mean, the forums right now are still really small in terms of content and who was doing it, so I didn't lose a lot, but it was just a lot of pain, and I tried to avoid taking that pseudo nuclear option. Couldn't do it, so now I have removed that particular plugin, and all should be right with the world. And I'm gonna definitely, before I update going forward, I'll take snapshots and backups so I can be good with that. But I think it's about the programming notes, so apologies for that. I just couldn't get it settled fast enough. But one thing did happen as I was messing around with stuff and going through my emails. I saw that Midjourney, I had applied for a Midjourney, I don't know, key in the beta, whatever, and I got my approval. So I spent a good bit of yesterday, when I probably should have been doing other things, messing around with Midjourney. Now you may be asking yourself, first question number one, Todd, what the heck is Midjourney? Midjourney is one of these machine learning AI applications. Midjourney specializes in creating art, and I'm going to show you in a minute all the amazing things that Midjourney can do. Now, according to, so first of all, let me thank folks who have subscribed to the Patreon, folks that have subscribed in the channel memberships on YouTube or anywhere else that you may have bought something or contributed a little bit, because I was able to pick up a subscription. Not sure how long I will keep it, but I picked up the $30 subscription so that I could just monkey around with as many images as I wanted to and not run up into any limits. And I only did that because of your guys' support. So appreciate that very much. A couple of things to note about Midjourney. According to their facts, you can commercially use their art, or use the art that their AI machine, whatever, generates. I don't know if it's a catch, but basically everything is essentially community. So I imagine, and we'll get looking at the kind of community feed first, and then we'll start generating our own. I'll show you some of the stuff that I've generated. We'll mess around with generating our own stuff. Is that anybody from the community can basically pick out something you've done. So presumably, if I were to, let's say, make something amazing, I decide to use it as a cover for my zine. Hey, that's great, but someone else could come in and grab the same image. I don't think I have any particular individual rights, or I should say exclusive individual rights to any particular image. So the great thing is anything I've seen here from somebody else, I presumably can take. I probably, if I was going to take somebody else's thing, I might want to just clarify it a bit, but from what I understand, that's it. There's no limitations on what we can do outside of NFTs, and I don't care about NFTs. Down with NFTs. If you're going to use these for NFTs, then I think if you make more than some amount of money, then some kind of royalties kick in. But other than that, you're basically free to, at this moment, do with them what you will. And of course, if you're just using them for your own game, then you don't have to worry about any of that because you're not publishing it. So it is all good in the hood as far as that goes. Ian says they didn't realize Midjourney was taking betas. Yep, they are. I think I actually have some invites, and I will try to figure out a way between the YouTube channel members and folks who are patrons. See, I don't know. I'm not sure how many I get. See if there's a way I can run something to hand some of those out. I don't know how far they get you. The beta invite lets you generate a bunch of images. I went through them all in an afternoon. And I don't know if they regenerate over time. I'm not sure how the free version works. After the free version, there's a $10 a month that limits you to, I think, 200 images over the month, and then there's a $30 that is unlimited amounts for the month. Though they can slow you down if you do too many. I don't know if I've hit that do too many, but it's very easy to sit there and just start generating image after image after image after image. I'm not sure they count everything you generate as an image, but I'm not exactly sure how that works either. So you'll want somebody to, what's the word? I lost my track of thought. Oh, I'm not sure what counts as an image, because as we'll see, when you put in a prompt, it'll generate four types, and then you can start trying to do variations of theirs. And I've read only a little bit. I'm not sure at what point, because you can then upscale them. You can't upscale them to super huge sizes, but you can upscale them to a nice size. I don't know at what point that counts as an image, if it's when you upscale it or how it works. But I think you do have some playing you can do with the upscaling features. Well, that is, I don't think I have anything else in terms of introduction. Let's get into it, and let's see. Let me share my screen over here. Oop, there we are. So this is just the community feed. I believe you do not see the community feed until you're on a paid plan. Oh, the other thing, just as a way it works, and you'll see it when we go through and start making our images, everything runs through a Discord bot. The web interface is a lot nicer and handier to see things. I'll show you my feed and just what I've been figuring out, and we'll go through this. But when you're actually interfacing with the AI itself, you're doing it through a Discord bot. When you go in and I'll go in and I'll show you what their Discord server looks like and how it works. Once you get on a paid plan, you get, I think just on the paid plans, you do get a private chat with the bot. So because what happens is you're in one, they basically have a bunch of channels, and then you go and you just filter in, and you're just throwing in your stuff, and everyone's throwing in their stuff, and you really get kind of lost in the scroll of what everyone's doing. It's kind of neat to see everybody's work developing, but when you're trying to do something yourself, it's easy to get lost in the shuffle there. Once you get on the paid plan, you get into your own little channel, or you can chat with the bot directly, and then you can kind of ignore those. I mean, you can still go look at those other feeds if you want to, but when you're doing your work, you can do it on your own. So hopefully that makes some sense. We'll see. We'll see it all in moments. Ryan Smith says that they're glad they got a real job after art school instead of trying to compete with AI art. It is going to be interesting. I think we'll see a lot of what this can do. There are a lot of limitations. I'm afraid of what these things are going to look like in 5 or 10 years when they're able to overcome the limitations, or they're able to have such a vast library of things that they've learned that even if they have some limitations, they're just going to power right through it. We'll see. So it's really kind of fun and interesting, but yeah, it's kind of scary. I imagine it's frightening. I mean, look, just from a content perspective, we went through a few months ago, we looked at one of the AI generating things for tables, and how it could generate prompts and table entries and whole tables for you. And that stuff's only going to get better. And I'm sure at some point you're going to have cross pollination between this kind of art sort of AI and the text AI. And then when they start being able to talk to each other and you can talk to them, it's going to be crazy. Oh, Brian Smith, it's scary how decent these are. Oh, you haven't even, I mean, there's a lot of really cool ones. And let's just take a look. So when we're looking at the community feed, you can see here, it's just a scroll. I'll just give it a quick hint. I'm not, yeah, okay. So it's going to be all upscales, all channels. I don't know what channels. Okay, so we could pick environments or characters, something like that. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to go on hot. That's fine. This one was really interesting to me, and I've already copied it. So this is a really beautiful image of a fantasy world. One of the nice things we get is, in addition to just the image, which is obviously nice, we get the prompt that this user guffaws put in. I can even save it if I want to. A highly detailed HD map of a fantasy land in the style of black and white woodblock artist Stanley Donwood, Rene Georges Herman Paul. One of the things that I'm realizing, and I've only messed around a little bit, is you want to give the AI as much as possible. 'Cause what it's going to do, I imagine, is it's taking, trying to figure out, trying to parse what you're asking for. In this case, a highly detailed HD map of a fantasy land, and then it's going to be looking for what are the elements it can mash up to make this. So you, by giving it some extra data, it's then able to, I'm guessing, go out on the internet. I don't know how it's doing it, pull in searches for all these different things. So we're telling it, hey, black and white woodblock artist. But I think, so in terms of, so you can see obviously the output, it's giving us a black and white woodblock kind of art piece, because that's the artist that we're emulating here, Stanley Donwood, and also Rene George Herman. And you can put in all kinds of different things. We'll throw in some fun ones. Get ready in the chat to start feeding me some interesting ideas and prompts that we can dump into the machine. But you can see here, this is what you get, which is beautiful. You can see, get a little bit bigger. Amazing. Brian Smith asks if it gives us the sources of images that it's drawn from. That would be cool. No, it does not. So we don't get anything. And what I've found is, for me, at least at this moment, as I'm still learning how to do this stuff, is trying to check out and grab a hold of all these different sources that people are using, or at least here I didn't favorite that one. I meant to, I did favorite it. I unfavorite it. I wanted to favorite that one. Ones that I find are really cool, favorite them. You can get all kinds of different styles. So we've got woodblock here. This one, they didn't even put in a style, just came up with one. This one, it's called the Cosmic Sorcerer. I'll just click on it, make it big, or you can see it kind of bigger. I'm just gonna there we go. And then this one, their references in terms of style are Hokusai and James Gurney, black paper, vibrant purple line work. So you're feeding it all these different details you want. And I haven't gotten really good at giving all those details of yet. And then it just spits something out. And what it will do, and we'll see it momentarily, is it's going to give you, first you're going to feed it something. It's going to give you 4 back. And then you can either start to basically upscale one of those if you like it. You can upscale it to get the highest res possible, or you can try to keep narrowing it down, different variations, and then they'll give you variations on top of variations. And then eventually you pick one you like. One thing we don't know from any of these, looking at it, is how many variations they went through to get this look. I have no idea how many variations Guffaws went through before they settled on, yes, this is the one. We just see the end result. So there's some of the process that's opaque. Brian Smith says, it seems to be very good at applying particular artistic style to images, maybe dragon painted by Salvador Dali. Sure. Well, I will hold on to those, Brian Smith. I'll feed a couple of those in. We can only do, I think, 3 or 4 at a time, which, hey, that's fine. So we'll do that. So this one posted by the Kanger, matte painting of abandoned clockwork ruins in the middle of winter, blue elements cinematic. So you can see here we're getting, I'm not sure what matte painting does, but presumably their understanding is we're using this matte painting usually for stuff that's behind you. So maybe they understand that this is supposed to be kind of a backdrop. We definitely get winter. We get clockwork ruins. We get blue elements. We get cinematic. And that's it. We get the sizing of their default. Oh, and then we do get through. Oh, actually, see, I was wrong. I thought we couldn't see what they went through, and I guess they did. So we can even see here some of the original. So these are the original variations that they got. And then, whoops. And then we can see they kind of went through some variations before they got to what they were getting to. Cool, right? And these are great because for me, as I'm learning, you can really get some great ideas for what kind of prompts to make. This one's really cool. Egyptian temple guardian character, concept art, powerful details, runes, beautiful portrait of an anime girl. And I only imagine that all these things, anime girl, detailed runes, kind of concept art style, Egyptian temple guardian informs all these different pieces. I don't know. I haven't seen any kind of write-up as where is it surfing for all this, but I have seen stuff where people will post things like ArtStation trending as, I don't know, as a style or as what, I don't know. Maybe it's because they know the AI will go to ArtStation for trending and then pick up stylistic things from there. I'm not sure, but you get all kinds of neat neat things. This one's really cool. Portrait of an eldritch skeletal god with golden antlers and dark red feathers, high fidelity face, and accurate reflections. So, like, feeding it in details. I'll definitely want to save that one. Let's take a look. Oh, we got some. So they got some cool iterations. Brian Smith says, I just can't stop imagining some CEOs coming up with a whiteboard full of buzzwords, feeding them into AI, and slashing their art budget to nothing. Yeah, I think that could probably happen. And then Ian says, synergy trending NFT, make it pop. I can hear, I've been places where I would definitely have heard probably all of those mashed together into one phrase. All right, so let's we can keep going through here, but yes, the folks got some good ideas. So here I was messing around with sort of map-ish stuff, but let's throw some of these in here. All right, Brian Smith was first. Let's go with I'm going to combine two of yours, Brian Smith. Let's see how this works. So we hit imagine, that's the prompt. So we're going to go pulp, comic, cover, dragon, fighting, Conan. All right, I'm going to see if this works. I'm still messing around with the list. Salvador Dali plus. All right, let's see what we get. See what we get those. By the way, I'll show one earlier. I did. My daughter. I was doing these this morning as we're getting ready for school, or school and work. And I showed one to my daughter, and my daughter was like, "Oh, can I do one?" I was like, "All right, what do you want? What do you want to do?" And she said, "I want, a lion with a tiger's head, like standing on a top of a rainbow." I was like, "Okay," and it actually threw it for a loop. I got some really kind of weird. Nothing really matched up, and I didn't feel like I was being that complicated either. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this one. One of the other things that's kind of funny is what it's trying to. So here it's got Conan, which is fine, but I found sometimes with these maps, text, it's not. You don't get real text. You basically get a lot of gibberish. I don't know if it's because it's just taking bits and pieces of images, merging them together. So you might get Tolkien Elven mixed with English, and I don't know, stuff just gets all munged up. So you get a lot of weird stuff. All right, so Brian Smith, this is yours. And I'm going to open this up. Oh, I opened it up in the wrong window. Let's open it up over here. So just to look at it bigger, we've got something over here. This one I kind of like. It's kind of Frazetta feel. I don't know what's going on with this one. So this Conan one down here, it's definitely got the pulp cover. What do we think about these? We've got this is I kind of like the style. See, and here's the thing. So this is where, at least right now, we're going to run into some limitations because we can't say to it combine, say, variants 1 and 4 to make something. And I think, pretty sure they're numbered 1, 2, just left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like that. We can't do that. We can't give it any notes. We can't say, oh, this is great, take this as a starting point and now add Walt Disney. Can't do it. All we can say is either upscale one of these or do variations on one of them. So I'm just going to make this one down here, this third one just seems so weird. I can't really make sense of what it's trying to be. It's probably the Salvador Dali that's sending things in an odd direction, but that's cool. So let's take 2 and 4. Let's look at some variants of 2 and variants of 4. So you can see here, and I don't know, I'm not up on all the latest things with bots in Discord, but it works actually pretty cool. So the bot responding to your original prompt comes up with these, gives you some buttons. This, I guess, means just maybe just start over, give you some new ones. Then it says you can either upscale 1, 2, 3, or 4, or variations on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it highlights the ones you picked. So we picked 2 and 4. So now it's going through. It's giving me, these are the ones from the second one. We could take a look at these. I sort of like some interesting ones. I'm just going to upscale number 2 just to go. We'll show you what an upscale one looks like. So let's upscale number 2. And sometimes it spits off. So yeah, there. And this might happen a few times. I don't know if I'm bumping up against limits or it's just internet stuff. Okay, there it goes. Yep. And then in terms of the fourth one, let's upscale. Oh, ooh, wait a minute. What's that? Where's the... what is... I'm not sure. I kind of like the backgrounds in that one. Let's go with the... But that's got like a floating city. Okay, let's go with number 2. We're going to upscale number 2. There we go. And then Slush Bubs, we will hit yours as soon as this is done. So now we have it, and it's going through a process. It's just editing its comments, so it's going to keep updating 60, 67%. That one's at 20%. So we'll come back to that in a minute. We can keep going down here. We can see some other work. Ooh, this one's really cool. Light red paper. That's all it put in. Light red paper. I think that's going to be something interesting stuff is what the heck is the machine thinking in terms of just getting a prompt for light red paper? And that's what it has. LSD Trip by Salvador Dali. There you go. Green Yoda and Dagobah, hyper-realistic render, depth of field. Let's just see, that one looks pretty cool. Man, that's a... Whew. Talk about deep fakes and everything else. It's gonna get crazy. This one was a war cannon designed by George Lucas, Mobius, Ghibli, Ian McHugh. That's pretty amazing looking. I did already highlight that one. We've got, what is this one? Symmetrical mech head concept, close-up, ArtStation, cyberpunk, 3D render. See, that's that ArtStation. I also seen stuff where they've been basically saying 3D render or octane render or things that would indication of just, I guess, again, the look that they're going for, as if you'd managed to put this all together in Blender or something, and then you've rendered it out. And this is watered down apple cider for the working man. Here we have golden white Gothic cathedrals, interiors, solar punks, Belinsky, Craig Mullins. I don't know who those are, but... And this is a mythological tarot card. Peter Moorbacher by Mariusz Lewandowski, Mobius, watercolor. I should try to mess around with some of that. I really like that. I want to make some tarot cards. And it's really hard to find tarot cards that you are kind of are sort of cheap or reasonable for use. And there's a Ghost Pirate Captain. All right, let's take a look back at what we've got here. So this one we've got, like, seems like Conan's kind of merged with the dragon. I kind of like the little city stuff. So we'll upscale to the max, which is not super huge. And then that one we've gotten. And what I mean about the gibberish thing is, so they got Conan right. All right, Conan. I'm sure they pulled that from pulp covers. But then you have this stuff here. And even when we could zoom in more, it's going to be kind of just munged text, which is unfortunate because some of the stuff with maps would be kind of cool, but you can't, when it's trying to label something, it does label it, but it labels it with gibberish, and there's no way to, or it's difficult to then separate out if you wanted to replace the gibberish labels with your own labels. I suppose one could put, hey, don't label it on at all. All right, so I'm gonna hit up Slush Bubs next with their neon color fantasy planetary map drawn by MC Escher. Yeah, see, I'm just scrolling up through the chat. Elfbait, hey, Elfbait says, if the AI is referencing works online, I can see a snake's pit worth of copyright lawsuits coming out of this. I think the thing is, though, in Elfbait, is that you'd only have to be different by a small percentage to essentially get out from copyright. So you don't have to be, it only has to be slightly different. And once you start munging together multiple people and multiple works into something, I think you're kind of end up being clear, whether that's right or not. And maybe they'll change the rules for these things once, if this gets, depending on how this evolves. But I don't know. So here's my feed. I guess it hasn't updated with my stuff that we've been doing. Okay. So you can see some of these things. I was messing around with mapping. Get some kind of interesting things. This was mapped for a role-playing game, Fantasy World, Gygax plus Tolkien plus Final Fantasy VII. This is something I got, which I kind of liked because it was very, I just liked the evocativeness of it. Evocation. It was very evocative, but it's not really usable. These were kind of cool. Same thing, but I got a vastly different style. I really like the look of this for something. I don't know if there's a way, because one of the things that I lament, and maybe there's a way to do it, is see how it just gets cut off. And if I was going to use this, I don't have the edge of here. I want the whole thing. But this one I really thought was cool. Has a kind of I don't know, this sort of paintings that I imagine being in kind of a Dante's Inferno or sort of manuscript, but it definitely has a video gamey feel. And so here's one. I like the idea I tried to square things off. I guess that's the Final Fantasy influence, but you see here at this stuff that I think is, I don't know if that's supposed to be text or if it's supposed to be buildings, but doesn't quite come out. And the details are not all there. There's definitely an impressionistic vibe if you were to zoom in further. But you can see some of that stuff. Ian wants Fantasy Elven Bastion in the style of H.R. Geiger. All right, I'll get to that one first. Let's see what we got here. We're done with our Conans. Let's see. Loading. My profile. It's not. Okay, here we go. So here we have, well, there's something going on here. So you can see here in the details, it's probably trying to take all the little book bits that would generally go up here, and it's just munged three or four of them together, so you just get this kind of gibberishy stuff up here. But we've got some kind of something's going on there. It's definitely very evocative. I don't know if let's see, here's the other one. I really love the face. It's almost like they've combined Conan's kind of swinging through, the dragon's kind of coming out of his shoulder. Something going on over here. I like this tower in the background. I like the red. I feel like Conan covers have a lot of that red. I like is this part of the dragon? I sort of like this. Is that Conan like a cowlick sort of hair for Conan? It's pretty cool, actually. Pretty cool. All right, so what did we have? Did I get? Hold on a minute. So let me do another one. I'll set up a couple here. All right, neon color fantasy planetary map drawn by MC Escher. And then Ian had one. I'll feed this in also. It can do a couple at once without going crazy. If I try to go. Okay, so those are going. Those are going. Ian says lots of these images generating AIs are also notorious for just producing gibberish text. Yes, it definitely the gibberish text thing is real. Hey, Frederick works in the chat. Hey, Frederick says Darth Vader's cast from Obi-Wan's amazing. There's an OSR adventure where it's just a drawing of a giant mecha with some wild control dice tables. That's cool. Yeah, you could definitely do a lot of that stuff. I mean, the mapping has been tough, but I imagine if I could get more detailed and I could find. I do feel like with these AIs, you're gonna find these keys that are gonna unlock things. So I started messing around when I saw these are all because I found that wood block, and so I threw that same stuff in here, and then I was generating these kinds of things, which I thought were really cool. I haven't generated any big ones yet, or at least not that one. Really kind of neat, as I was just trying to generate different ideas. You get some kind of really neat stuff. This first one, I don't know what this is. It just threw a maze in. I'm not sure what that is. Here we have another maze feature. Actually, three of these have maze features. And then I ended up iterating off of number 2 up here. I think a lot of these is going to be, I really like this one here. Even in the big size, I was hoping to get more detail in here, but it also has that look of a manuscript that I think this could be one where I think I could hand out to my players and say, here's this map that you got, and you make sense of it. And maybe I can use these as cues to sort of think about what belongs here on the actual map, but it definitely has this medieval map vibe of, yeah, you have no scale. You have only the barest sense of direction. And, the world ocean is surrounding everything, and then you got maybe these are rivers and something else, but that's about it. But hey, it is what it is. But could I use this I could use it as a prop, but it's not enough for me to use as a as a game as a GM facing game tool. So here we get some other ones. We have like it looks like it's running like fantasy, maybe Tolkien in there, and you get kind of fantasy. I couldn't quite get it. I was hoping to get kind of sort of my plan or my hope was I could get some kind of Middle Earth inspired maps that would use basically Middle Earth style. And it's kind of getting there, but kind of not. It's not as cool as the woodcut ones. These are some other ones. I was trying to say, hey, maybe if I reference Dungeons and Dragons fantasy role playing game, I'll get some things. But then I think I was confusing it when I was trying to get dungeons. So I was getting kind of dungeon maps. But they're not, these aren't usable. Or I suppose that maybe they are. I just have to mess around with them. But, I don't see any doors or hallways. It's kind of a scatter. I also like this one just for its evocativeness, though. Gibberish all over the place. Gibberish. As a player-facing prop, I could print this out or just in Discord send it over and say, here's what you got, and maybe put a couple of notations on there and say, yeah, you figured out what this means and come back to me. But not great as a GM tool. And I was trying to get icons. This was some interesting stuff came out of these icons I was trying to get it to do. So I really like some of these different looks kind of heralds, chivalric symbols, but I was trying to get more cartographic symbols and it didn't quite come through. But these are all kind of cool that I could see cutting out and using in some way. This is another version. It really feels like it's off of a manuscript, right? Gibberish again. But I could certainly see handing this off to the players. Maybe there would be you could maybe figure out some kind of puzzle in there. And hey, they find this symbol somewhere and they find this symbol somewhere or whatever. Can they make sense of that? And this was more me trying to do cartographic symbols. Some of these are really cool. I really like these things that it came up with. Or these where maybe it's showing you a zoomed in kind of town or city map. Hard to tell what that's supposed to be. But very cool stuff. Let me see here in the chat. Yeah, Brian Smith says, I don't think the final generated image contains enough of any one single image to qualify as being copied illegally. Maybe not, who knows? Like in music copyright, using samples of existing music is even a pretty tricky thing to prove. Yes. R asked if this is Hum 3. I don't know what their AI they're using behind the scenes over at Midjourney are, so. Zawa Paul asked if was generating a 6-mile hex attempted. It was not. All right, it has not yet been attempted, but we could try. Let's get back because I'm sure I've got some stuff here. Okay. So Neon Fantasy Planetary Map drawn by MC Escher. We didn't get anything amazing there. The first one's kind of blah. Second one, maybe the most usable in terms of what we've got. We've got some kind of geography. I kind of like the third one and even the fourth one if I was doing these almost I've seen people do things with logos and stylized posters. That'd be cool. I could see this being a logo for something, either one of those two. But we can iterate off one of them, check it out. Let's iterate off of the second one. Maybe. Oh, this gave us some more stuff. So, oh, I like these. So what do we like? What do we like of these Eschers? Brian Smith says these are good prompts to make your own art based on it as an inspiration too. Yes, it is. Brian Smith also says it's weird how basically the keywords are the crayons. Once you get used to the keywords to generate the elements, you can get pretty good at it. Yep, I think so. I think knowing your artists, knowing artists that it can find, knowing these different keys, and which is nice when we can see that community feed, is you can see which prompts or which elements of prompts seem to work really well, and then use those. Fluff of the Griffin says, looks like arcane runes from a tattered old document that would take months for the party mate to decipher and reconstruct. Absolutely. Oh, Brian Smith wants to see the one my daughter put. All right. First, though, let's pick which ones of these HR Geiger ones. 2 and 3 on the Geiger. All right. Oh, look at that. We got some new ones on there. So first we'll do variations. Do we want to do variations or upscale? We'll do variations. We can come back and upscale them. On, let's see, on these now. Now we've got some more stuff. I'm not sure. I cut this one's kind of nice. I like that you got some variation there. This one's got some variation. I'll go. We'll do some. We'll do one more set of variations on Escher. We'll do 3 and 4. Ian says those are some good bastions. They are indeed. Okay, let's get down here. These, I really like these symbols, and I'm going to use some of these. I just want to get more of these for that have not just towns but other things. But I really dig them. I like this just as a town symbol for someplace. Me like you very much. I was really happy with that. And I even like these that they came up with. Very simplified, but man, this one up here, oh, I like that. I got to figure out how to make some other work that fits on top of it. And then I got these towers. Oh, I like these towers. Oh, check that out. And here is mine. A fantastic broken tower rising above a mysterious forest. Studio Ghibli plus Salvador Dali plus Ansel Adams. I don't think how much Ansel Adams gets in there. But I really like that tower. I don't. It's got this kind of. You could almost read that as being modern, but it doesn't have to be. And I like this sort of. I don't even know what is behind it. Is that just kind of like the shadow of something? And I like that it's got tree elements. Ah, I just like that one. I just got into I hit this prompt and it was like I liked all of them. I liked this one. Kind of feels a little Ready Player One-ish, but sort of not. I didn't, but oh man. I dig. This one, and this one I like the locks. I just love the way it's crumbling in the base and just the way it sort of sloughs off into the rest of the landscape. And I kind of like, I'm not sure what this is. Some sort of totem on the top. Man, this is again where I wish it just didn't cut it off. I need to find a way to say, like, give me the whole thing. I don't want it chopped. Same thing here. I love this. Is this a wind? I love the kind of honeycomb. And then, oh man, super good. And then, yeah. I really, you can see I started getting into towers. All right, so here's a couple of so here's the one that my daughter ended up liking the best. This is supposed to be a mythological creature with a lion's body and a tiger's head standing proudly on top of a large rainbow held up by 2 unicorns. Realistic. I get some kind of nightmare. I have no idea what to make of this. It's very evocative. The unicorn, I guess. I can't even explain what's happening here. I probably could have said liger, but my daughter was pretty specific. Lion body, tiger's head. Didn't think it would be complicated. Yeah, this one I could print out. It is so, I mean, it'd probably give some other kid nightmares, but just kind of funny. This one is another one I put in just for myself. Realistic creature with a lion's body and a tiger's head drawn by Charles Darwin. I was hoping I'd get a side view, but I do like this one a lot in terms of these faces. This one has kind of a humanoid aspect to it. Actually, they all really kind of have a humanoid aspect to it. Then this was the original prompt. I was getting stuff like this. This probably is the most accurate in terms of some kind of tiger head, lion's body, kind of on a rainbow. I tried to get Dolaire's myth, so I tried to insert. This is a slightly different prompt. Didn't quite come out. Also got these over here where it was sort of merging together the unicorn with my tiger lion. These I really liked. These I liked a lot. This was I'm having a typo there. Medieval Italian nobleman goblin holding a rapier in their hand against an ornate background portrait, highly detailed, painted with oils. I typed that on my phone so you can see things, but I really liked some of these that I got. I thought these will be cool to throw out, and I made these ones big. I just think these are great. Just thinking about, what would a goblin, goblin warrior might look like. Brian Smith says, seems like you could get some very good The Thing type creatures. Yeah, I think you definitely could. And then there's This one might be my favorite. I don't know, something about that pose. Yes, very good NPC art. And you can really, I think, playing around with these different things, taking a fantasy creature and then putting it in this different garb. Because I think we often think in our head our stereotypes of goblins and orcs and things like that. It's just sort of, I don't know, very kind of animalistic. But thinking about, well, what does a goblin noble might look like? Nice fancy armor, fancy stuff. They're painted. This is what's hanging up in their hall. Really kind of cool stuff. And I haven't tried messing around with a bunch of different types of creatures, but I will get to that. This is me trying to get a castle schematic. I didn't really get into it. I got to come back and mess around with it. They didn't really come out that great. I really like these. This was Ruined Medieval Fortress in a Swamp, Gustave Doré plus Studio Ghibli. I really dig the looks. There's a bunch of these that I did. Oh, Nightbot coming in. Really cool stuff. I think when you nail it, it feels good. Even though I haven't haven't done anything, I feel like, yeah, I made that prompt. That one's mine. I did that. I refined it. But yeah, it's super, super cool. This is yeah, just more of those. I just loved all of them. So I just started upsizing all the ones of that set because I just thought they're all cool. They're all cool. Let's get into what we have here. So we got some variations. We got one more set of variations for Escher. I don't know which ones of these I like better. Let's see. I'll just upscale number 2. Making an executive decision on that one. Upscale number 4. Ooh, these are all good too. I'm gonna go with number 4 on this one. I just like but number 3 too. Oh, this is what just it pains me. It pains me. I have not tried typing my full name in there. I should. I'm gonna upscale 2 and 4. Or 3 and 4. I just like, they're all good though. They're all good. And now on this set, ooh, there's something. That one I kind of like because it's just, this one has this very sort of elvish, creepy, spooky Taj Mahal vibe. Though I like maybe the little bit more organicness of that one. And there's this kind of, in the 4th one, this reality defining. Oh, it's upscale 3 and 4. There's a lot of good stuff. So, taking a look at this, could we use this for a game? So one of the things, we're having a lot of fun, but I think in a practical level, having messed around with this for a little bit, is this gameable? Is it something we could use for our games? I'm gonna say yes. I think if you get in the beta, particularly if you buy one of the plans, and I don't know if the pricing on the plans, I don't know what the free. There's a lot of unknowns. There's not a lot of information right now in terms of if you're on the free plan, is it just, hey, you got a taste and now subscribe, or if you get regenerating number of pictures you can use. I think the other thing I mentioned earlier was I'm not sure when they consider it a picture, if it's when you upscale it, because depending on where you're starting from, you might need to cycle through a bunch of variations to get something. I think mapping, it's rough. I really like these symbols, and I'm going to definitely come back and mess around with these prompts some more and see if I can fine tune them, because I think these symbols are great. And then you could cut and paste them out in something like Photoshop GIMP and use them to make a map. These woodcut maps, if I come up to, where was it? Looking back at these, really cool. The thing is about it, there may be ways to do this. I've seen people put in a lot of details. I think we looked at some of them. Hey, cinematic, blue, use this kind of feature. In terms of mapping, though, if you have a map and you want to make a crazy artistic version of the map, there's no way to prime the AI with something. I don't have a way of saying, oh, I have this map that I drew with pencil that's kind of sloppy, and a way to just upload it into the into the system and say, hey, make this nice in Tolkien's style on parchment and have it go to work. So if you're going to do a map like this, maybe if I have no plan, I could just say, yeah, give me a fantasy land in a woodblock style and this kind of artist, and then I can just refine it down until I get something I like, and that becomes my base map. If I have a base map, I'm not sure there's a way to accurately describe it. Okay, I'm going to have a map, and there's going to be a river running in the northeast, and there's this town over here. You know, there's just too many details. I don't have a great way of describing it. What am I going to give? Like longitude and latitudes? I don't even know. If I have precise ideas of where stuff I want to be is, that's not going to work. So for the mapping element, it's like, yeah, you probably need to stick with something you have there. But if you wanted to make a more abstract something like this, where you could put this on a scroll in your game, and then, hey, the fact that it's kind of gibberish, maybe just have a couple things that call out these areas or something to give the players a clue. Like if they knew, oh, we're here at this tower and these directions are solid, so that this stuff is south and this stuff is east. And that might be enough. And then you can just discover as a group how this stuff relates to the actual geography. But that's fine. In terms of what I just showed with all those goblins I made, yeah, there's a really good use for this in creating very impromptu NPCs, portraits. I need somebody. I want him to be a drunk, but he's an orc. He's missing a tooth, but he's a barkeep, the tavern keeper or something, or he's a merchant, whatever it is. And I can write all those in a prompt. I can even put in a style, like in this Renaissance painting, Michelangelo painted, or maybe we're going to say Da Vinci painted it, or some other famous Italian artist painted it. Something of that, or a sketch, or I want a Octane like 3D render, and you can come up with some stuff, and you can get them out really quickly. The day of your game, oh, I want some of these, and use them, and then throw them in front of the party and say, this is what you see, and do that. I am sure you could do this with. I haven't tried doing it with objects, but I'm sure you could. Highly detailed render of a flaming scimitar. I'm sure we could get some cool stuff. So if you wanted to do it for your magic items, your rings, your probably even suits of armor. I've seen stuff where people have put at least featured armor and things. You could probably come up with that. You could do a lot with that. Ian says, if I get a subscription, I'm going to have to fix my printer. Yes. Brian Smith asks, what kind of exporting features does it have? You're just getting a PNG. So there's no, as far as I know, there's no SVGs, there's no layers. You're getting what you get. Maybe it would be really cool if they had, if they had something like I could get this and I could get it with layers. Photoshop is getting so crazy now with the stuff it can do that I could probably create some layers myself out of that. But that would be crazy. But right now it's just a PNG. I think even the largest size isn't super huge in terms of rendering. So there we have our things. Let's see if they've updated on here. So we could take a look. All right. So first our MC Escher maps. This could kind of work for some, Gamma World, I don't know, Mothership. Insert your preferred sci-fi rule system in here. I really, the bright colors are kind of nice because you definitely get the sense of different climates, biomes. Is this lava? Is this somehow green? Is it irradiated green? Is it the green of forest? Is this red and, I don't know what, fire and sand? You get some indication. That could be either mountains or it could be a city. I don't know. This is kind of this purple area, interesting. I like the kind of atmosphere, and I like the gradients. I don't know if this screams Escher to me, but, and then this second one, different kind of thing. You definitely have more detail. It's like you're seeing all the subterranean terrain in there. Or maybe it's not even subterranean. Maybe it's maybe the blue represents something else. Interesting that the yellow, for whatever, is very plain. Could it be sand? Could it be something else that just covers everything so it's practically featureless? Who knows? Oh, Inverse Alien said they use AI art generation to make a deck of BX spell cards. Oh, that's really cool. If you got them somewhere, well, sharing links in the chat doesn't work, but throw it in the comments and throw it somewhere. We can see it if it's shareable. Brian Smith says, I'm guessing it's pulling the circular drawing of Escher's where he drew his reflection in a metal ball he was holding. Maybe. Who knows? Unfortunately, we don't know. Oh, but let's see these Escher ones look pretty. Oh, look at that. Come on. How can you not like that? Kind of creepy. I don't even know that's it's almost like it's dying vegetation dead. I'm getting a little suggestion of could it even be subterranean? I'm not even sure. But this middle area, walkways. Oh, come on. That's some spooky material right there. And this one, this is like straight out of Mordor. This is like, I can see Sauron or one of the ring wraiths walking down those steps. I like the idea of the kind of pseudo-natural spires of the building, but then also how it's mirrored by these kind of spire-like rock formations in the distance. Super nice. And then we get our sort of Taj Mahal kind of thing. Here we get a little bit more green, but definitely still rocky background. I like the way this kind of, I don't know, what is this sort of drippy, I don't know, is that moss? Is that just goop? Is it just, it's the way cement just bleeding down? And it kind of sweeps up into, okay, it's a fairly phallic symbol, but I think that's probably common with a lot of Geiger stuff, but I like this twisty towers and nice. Let's see. Inverse Alien says if you have at least a scant bit of programming chops, there are Python notebooks that run on Google Colab that do all kinds of things. Oh, cool. I'll have to. Can I search that and put that text in a search engine, Inverse Alien, and actually get some stuff out of that, or specific names for apps? Because I definitely would take a look at it. Brian Smith says if you type in non-phallic HR Geiger, the AI will explode. Yeah, probably would. There's probably not yeah, Georgia O'Keeffe plus HR Geiger non-phallic, and just watch the computer just melt down trying to figure out how to make that happen. And this one's pretty cool. There's something about, I don't know why I like this, just this sort of pipe that just kind of goes up. Something about this way, just you're rising up in this building that's so, it's very short up here. It almost makes it feel like there's some kind of interdimensional space, like it's going to be bigger inside than the way it looks outside, like the TARDIS or something is in there. Hey, Cockatrice Nuggets, welcome. Do we want to try some last prompts? It does look like a crown. There's a couple of those that kind of have a crown look. I definitely think we could put in, if we took this prompt and added a skull shape in here and kept the rest of this stuff, I bet you we'd get some. Let's try that. Doesn't have to be our last one, but let's. Skull shape. You know what? I'm going to throw the Georgia O'Keeffe in there. I'm curious what it'll come up with, because I feel like the one thing with the plain Geiger one was that you don't get a lot of the, I mean, I guess you get the organicness of the shape, but not a lot of the, maybe what we consider elvish in terms of sort of living things. It's kind of organic in that creepy alien way. I'm wondering if it tries to pull in, and I'm going to throw Miyazaki in there. Let's see what we get. And then I think we probably have time for maybe another prompt or two. Oh, it didn't go through. Try it again. Yes, it's going. Adding DMT aura to anything. What is DMT aura? Oh, look like it's giving us skulls, but it's giving us actual skulls and maybe not skull shapes. Oh, wait a minute. Arsis, this is going to puke. I don't know. I'm curious what we're gonna get. I feel like we're getting skulls. This is where maybe Bastion. Oh, wait. Now, oh, now we're getting some looks more like a building. All right, hold on. This. Oh, getting better. We're at 67%. Dum da da dum dum da da dum dum. I do like it. It's like you're like those easy. You're doing like a little easy bake kind of thing here. Oh man, these are all good and they're all kind of different too. 92%, so we're almost there. That first one. I know we gotta do the first one, I think. All right, here we go. So we have time for a couple things. We can do, man, they're all kind of good in their own way. I feel like we got to go variations on number one because it's got the green part. I kind of like that it looks like a skull, but it's not quite as super skullified as the other ones. And I like that it's got the green in there. So let's see if we do variations on one. Ryan Smith says skull shapes will have probably the most things to draw from, lots of faces. Yep. Bottom right, we can do that one too. We'll do variation 4 also. That is a good 4-pack, Brian Smith. I agree. Oh man. So let's see. Okay, so if we had to pick one of these. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Which one? We'll do one more variation. Which one should we pick? R asked me, how long did I have to wait to hear back from the beta? I don't recall. It was a couple of weeks at least. Maybe even longer. I kind of forgot about it. It was far enough back that I'd sort of forgotten about it, and then it just popped up. Bottom left. All right. Oh, I like that one too, though. Oh man, they're all good. This is pains me is they're all good. So we'll go bottom left. I'll do the catty corner ones. I don't know, something I like about that, having that hemisphere. Variation 2, variation 3. And now, ooh. What do we like here? We've got. I think we don't. I don't feel like we need any more variations on this one. Man, the oh gosh, they're all good. They're all good. All right, so we got to pick one of these to up, or we're looking at which one of these to upscale of this set of Geigers. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, or top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. I think I like top right. I mean, I like them all, just for maybe a sense of difference. Bottom left, top right. Yes, very. I agree. Aztec Slush Bob says 2 and 3. All right, let's go 2 and 3. We're gonna upscale 2 and 3. Scale 2, upscale 3. Okay, here are our last ones. We got to pick. I think these are the ones we picked, right? All right. Oh yeah, we got the hemispheres. All right, so we got to pick one of these to upscale. This one, oh, that almost feels like a stormtrooper. That one's kind of all right. So of the this set of skulls to up, got to pick one to upscale of these 3. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we like? Unfortunately, with the chat, I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of the chat, or the chat is behind me. I don't know. All right, I don't know if you're responding to which one you're responding. Okay, I'm gonna pick executive decision. Executive decision. I'm gonna pick the sort of stormtroopery one. Oh, 3 is non-symmetrical. Yeah, that's true. All right, we'll do 3. I'm down with 3. So upscale a third one. And then on this one, I think I kind of like number 4. I like that you almost lose a little bit of the skull. It's not super. I don't know. Something about. I'm going to pick number 4. All right, so it's upscaling. Oh, I see RPG. All right, Inverse Alien. I'll check it out. And then we're going to upscale to the max. When all these are done, upscale to the max. I wish there was a way just to just jump forward and upscale, but it is giving you options at kind of each step to sort of rethink or no, you don't really lose anything, but Marian Smith, thanks for hanging out. Have a great rest of your day. This will be ending shortly. So before we get too far and everyone starts bailing out, if you give a thumbs up, that would be awesome. If you find yourself in here and you're not subscribed to the channel, if you want to go ahead and subscribe, that would be awesome too. And then, you can hit that bell if you want to be ultra notified when things are happening. Okay, so those two are upscaling. This one's still going. Upscale to the max. Yep. All right, so these all should be shortly finito. Ian says, not sure how much it burns through the image allowance with the variation request. Yes, Ian, I mentioned that before. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's not clear in the FAQ. That's kind of why I went for the $30 subscription. And again, thanks to folks who have helped me out through Patreon and channel memberships and everything, which gave me the allowance to do that so that I could do things like these videos and just burn through a bunch of images and not worry too much about suddenly I've run out. Because I did run through the free allotment yesterday. I pushed through that pretty quickly. But I was also upscaling a lot of them because I didn't understand anything. And I don't know if there's a way to hit the bot or something and say, hey, how many images do I have left? How many images have I used up? I don't know. Hopefully they'll keep updating this and they can add some extra features for that. Let's see which ones these got picked up so far. None of the big ones. All right. So here's Geiger number. Whoa. We can zoom out of this a bit. All right. So here's one of the Geiger ones. I like the style. I like this sketch. Almost has a charcoal vibe. Definitely very atmospheric. And this is a big one. Plenty resolution there for most of our needs, I would say. Okay, still nothing yet. So that's that one. Got this one. Nice details. I didn't really recognize it when we were looking at it in smaller, but now in bigger, the way you can see that it's individual stones placed there. Oh, info/info should give that info. Well, let's see. What do I have /info? Info. All right, so I'm on fast mode. Oh, I still have a fairly good amount of fast time relating. Yep, I've made 322 images. Oh, yes, 322 images, and that's in. I think we're gonna be what time is it? Yeah, it's probably about a day. 24 hours. I went through 300 plus images. That probably tells you all you need to know. There's that one. Now let's see. Oh, this is the other one. I do like that this one's really green. I like that this is in the greenery. Oh, I like that. I didn't even notice this before. The green, whatever this green coming moss on the rocks. That's almost another little face in there. I also like we still have this. Think about this cranial. I don't know what is that. I don't know if that's supposed to be that. I forget that point, that seam in your cranium when the two pieces come together and seal. But the fact that it's kind of it seems a little bit wonky and it's just kind of wandering off, and almost the styles of stone are different. I mean, it feels like this place has had rough times and then been repaired. And I think did we have one more coming, or was that it? That might be it. Did we check out this one? Maybe not. Yeah, I like that one a lot too. I like them all. Yes. Yep, Ian. Yeah, all everything by default, everything is public, and I don't know even how much you could set to private. I'm not concerned about it. I'm not. It's not a concern. I think, and I mentioned this at the beginning. I think that if you're planning to use these and publish them, I probably would use them. I have zine stuff I'm well behind that I need to get doing. I would definitely use this to crank out some interesting pieces for things, especially if I didn't have an artist who that I had, on tap to do. If I wanted something Geiger-esque and maybe the person I'm working with isn't that's not their specialty, but I need one, I could see just whipping something out and going through some variations. I mean, that's what's going to be really interesting from a content creator perspective is sure, it's $30 a month for this subscription, but and sure, all the images I'm generating are not set to being private. And I think you don't really have. They may still be working on it, but I think they saw something in one of the facts that you have to have a corporate level subscription to set things to private. So I'm not even sure how much of an option that is, but just understand everything you're making is out there. Anybody's gonna be able to take it. I kind of like it because people can just start riffing off other people, and someone can see, oh, this prompt worked really well, and then add some other element to it, and then I get to I'll be able to maybe see what they did from it. So I'm happy to do that. But yeah, it's essentially you have to treat all this in a sense like stock art, but at the same token, or by the same token, I would say so many people are generating so much art that I feel fairly confident if I poke this out and say I'm going to make this the cover of my next thing and I use it, that I'm not going to see 500 of them out there because people are generating so much art that this is going to get buried in the archives or whatever their system is. It's not like it's going to be visible very long unless it's super super amazing and tons of people favorite it, but probably not. So I'm not even going to be worried about I'll worry about that. And Ian says that the corporate is still only $50 a month billed annually. So even that's so. I mean, it's kind of crazy. It's really going to change a lot of things. I think some of it for better, some of it for ill. It's a lot easier to afford $30 a month for oodles of images than to pay artists a lot more than $30 if you're paying them fair wages, really, to do much. I don't know how it's all going to shake out just in terms of using this stuff for your own games. I think we've demonstrated through here the strengths of it are going to be in things like the kind of or inspirational things or props. I need an NPC. I want to create a really like maybe I want an entrance to a dungeon and I'm thinking I want this kind of vibe to it, or I want an elven tower and I can pull out that one of these ones that we did, Geiger Geiger style or Geiger style tower, and then bam, it's like we've got it, right? It's right there. Any one of these would do. Oh, I need something. Yeah, let's just go with it. Boom. Put this in my mood board. Put this in front of my players. Even if I'm just going to use it to describe how it looks like. That stuff I think is going to work really well with. In terms of some of the things that are more content focused, like oh, I need a map or I need something like that. I think it's going to be a harder road. I don't think we're there yet. I mean, look, there are tons of other tools for creating free maps and free things. So that maybe you just look at it and say, yeah, that's not the tool that this is, or that's not the kind of application that this tool is designed for. I'm going to still keep plugging away at it. I think maybe it's possible to get some really interesting results. I think if you're going to use this tool for those types of things, you're going to want to do it at the beginning of your process when you haven't established anything, maybe just the barest details or atmosphere, and that way you can let the machine come up with your first draft and then refine it from there, and not when you have an idea. Like if I had a map or I had an idea of my world and I wanted to create a really fancy map for it that seemed really interesting, and I didn't want to use Incarnate or one of the other map makers, Wonder Draft, something like that. I was like, no, I want it to look really cool, and I don't have the Photoshop chops to do it. I don't think this app in its present form is going to help you because you can't feed it enough of the details, and it's difficult even to describe the details to feed into it to get it to do what you want it to do. You're still going to need an artist or somebody where you can rough out a sketch and hand it off to them, because you can't. You're putting in a prompt and then you get to sort of get variations on it, but you don't get to drill down. You don't get to add on to your prompt. You don't get to give it a starting point and say, hey, here's my kind of roughed up map, and can you just fix it up? No, you don't get any of that. You just throwing in stuff. So if you're going to try to use this for something like that, you're going to want to do it at the very beginning of your process. Otherwise, art for locations, when you want some kind of atmosphere, art for NPCs, art for really anything like that, I think this is going to come up in spades. And for those kind of purposes, I'm not worried about pixel perfection. I'm not worried that it's going to capture my thing exactly. I'd like to take this as an example. I think I was hoping with the fantasy elven part, we'd get more trees and that kind of part. The kind of Geiger part took over, but that's okay, because if I'm just using this to describe from, I can add in those details. I can imagine that instead of this being kind of bare area back here with looks like dead tree branches, that it's more vibrant forest above and below. I can just add that in myself. No big deal. If I have time, I could just keep refining that font or refining that prompt and trying it. But if I don't, hey, no biggie, right? I can just do that. And if I was going to do this for a project, a professional project, then I would need to figure that out more or use some other trickery to get it closer to my vision. I'll just read through the chat a little bit. Let's see. So Ian said about the corporates, only $50 billed annually. Yeah. So, for what, $50 times 12. So it's $600, I guess, something like that, right? Then yeah, you get a lot of tools. I mean, $600 feels like a lot, but for a year, I guess not if you're, obviously not if you're a corporation, but even if you're just a person, but what you're getting for that $600 is potentially a lot. So if you see your workflow and your needs could meet it, I wouldn't get any of the plans really unless you're planning to do something with it, or you just feel like you just want to play around with it as a good time. You might be able to get away with either just the free one or the $10 a month one, which is $10 a month one is, well, I guess, I don't know, it's 200 images in a month. And I did 300 images plus in 24 hours, though I did jump on the deal after I ran out of free ones. So I'm not sure where I would be at if I had the $200 ones. But just keep in mind, you can end up down some rabbit holes and generate a ton of images. Brian Smith, this is imagination image in a blazingly fast and pretty usable format. Yep. Oh, the corporate billing is only for over $1 million a year revenue. Interesting. I'll have to check out the corporate thing more. I don't know. We'll see. But at the moment, I don't care about the privacy stuff. I'm happy to share all the images. So much stuff's coming out, and right now I'm at a point where I am borrowing more from what other people are doing than I am putting out original into the world. So maybe at a point I feel like I've mastered the secrets of Midjourney, and now all my images must be for me and me alone. Then maybe I'll come back and see how can I make these private so only I get them. But right now I'm all good. Yes, I'm on the right. Ian says the $30 a month. I do have unlimited / relaxed build hours. Yep, that's what I picked because I knew I was going to blow through a bunch of images and I didn't want to get on stream and run out in the middle of the stream, and I figured I would do a bunch. So that was Midjourney. Hopefully I got to answer some questions. You got to see some good art being generated. Oh, hey, as an added bonus, if you are a channel member, if you are a patron, I'm going to put all the high res versions of these onto Patreon, onto the channel members for YouTube. So if you want to download the biggest versions I have of these, I will throw them all out there for you. Otherwise, if you do get onto Midjourney, and I'm not sponsored in any way by Midjourney, Midjourney's not giving me any, I got nothing. I spent some hard-earned cash, like I said, enabled by my fantastic patrons and subscribers to get the subscription. They don't owe me anything. I don't owe them anything. This was just something that on my own. So, but if you do happen to get on to Midjourney, you'll be able to find these through their interface as well, because that's a nice thing. Everything's public, so it's all there. Hey, Stratman Kudzu said thanks for showing it. That they've seen everything they've seen from Midjourney has been crap posts and memes. Well, I'm glad to do something different. There's a lot of neat artwork out of it. And when I first saw it on one of the Facebook groups, they were posting really cool images, not crap posts and memes. So I'm sure there's a ton of those too. But yeah, if you, lots of Shrek stuff. Ugh. Well, I'm glad to show a different face to it. But I got to run. So Stratman, if you're late, you can roll back to the beginning of the stream to watch it from the front. give a thumbs up on your way out. That would be awesome. If you found yourself in here and you're not subscribed, I do this pretty much every day, unless like yesterday, I have issues with software and hardware and I have to take a day off, and I post other videos and stuff on the side. But this is kind of what I do. So if you dig it, then hit that subscribe button. And that's about all I got. Inverse Alien says, "This is the first time I've seen someone doing this for RPGs outside my house." Well, cool. Glad to be the first. I'm sure I will not be the last. And if this goes anything like Gygax 75 coverage, I'm sure Questing Beast will be in here in days with a video that will blow the hinges off mine in terms of viewership and acclaim. But hey, it is what it is. Oh, your first live stream. Cool. Well, come hang up for more, Stratman. 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, I'm here. But now I got to run. Peace out, everybody. Game on, and enjoy the rest of your day, night, or whenever you end up watching or listening to this. And if you do get onto Midjourney, drop me a line, forums.hex.press, or here, or Twitter, or anywhere you are. Love to see what folks come up with. And maybe we can build up a little library of great prompts and images and whatnot. Talk to you later, everybody. Ciao.